Hello to all Cinemaster lovers. Hope you enjoy watching. Let's get started. The film begins with the character Victoria, the owner of the car company, addressing her team saying, "What's the news? Make me happy and tell me that you found the beetle." One of them replies, saying, "We are getting close to finding it." She asks them to increase their efforts to complete the project and present it to the council, emphasizing the need for urgency. Victoria explains that she has spent 51 years working on this project, but in reality, she is lying, as she is not over 50 years old. The project was originally the work of her uncle, the great archaeologist, who discovered the beetle and created super machines for the army. However, he disappeared before he could find the beetle, so Victoria continued what her uncle had started. Victoria decided to implant the beetle in a human body to create a super soldier who would serve the army. At the same time, a young man named Jaime appears, returning to his family after his graduation. His father Alberto asks the family not to tell him about the problems they are going through until they celebrate his graduation first. Later, he is told that they will have to leave their home because the rent has tripled. Alberto tries to find solutions, suggesting working in his uncle's workshop, but he discovers that the workshop has been sold. He also learns that his father had a heart attack, which led to most of the money being spent on treatment. Alberto feels responsible for his family and decides to look for a job, even if it is far from his field of study. He gets a job as a cleaner in a palace by the sea, and there he sees Victoria from a distance, who does not pay him any attention. Inside, a conversation takes place between Victoria and her niece Jenny about the Beetle project. Jenny objects to the project, considering it to have bad intentions, and accuses Victoria of using the beetle for evil purposes. Victoria responds that the company is entirely hers, and that Jenny's father left it in a state of collapse. The conversation ends with tension between them. Meanwhile, Jaime overhears their conversation and intervenes to calm things down, claiming to be just a new janitor. He is asked to leave the place, but he stays near Jenny. Jenny comes out later and thanks him for his stance, then offers him a job at the company. Jaime accepts the offer immediately. The next day, Jaime goes to the company, where his family members greet him enthusiastically. He heads to the reception desk, then is asked to wait. Meanwhile, Jenny sneaks into the lab using a card she stole from the responsible doctor. She searches for the beetle until she finds it and puts it in a box so she can take it out of the lab. But one day he sees her in the elevator, and he rushes towards her while the doctor returns to the lab, only to find that the beetle that was there has disappeared. He informs security, and things start to get complicated. Alberto rushes to Jenny and says to her, "Don't you remember me? I was talking to you yesterday, and you told me you would be working here." But she replies, "Sorry, I'm busy right now. Let's leave it for later." He says to her, "How about we have lunch and talk?" Suddenly, the alarm goes off and she says to him, "Okay, listen, you work with me from now on. Take this box and go with it. No matter what happens, don't open it and don't try to find out what's inside. Did we agree?" He replies, "Okay." She hands him the box and asks him to leave quickly. As he is leaving, his sister meets him and says, surprised, "Is your job now to guard a sandwich?" He replies to her, "A sandwich? Surely there is something much bigger than that in this box." She says to him, "Okay, show us what's inside." He replies, "No, I can't open it. Jeannie asked me not to." His uncle says to him, "She's not here with us now and we won't steal anything. We'll just open it to see what's inside and then close it again." Everyone insists, saying, "Open it." In the end, he decides to open the box, only to find a beetle inside. Everyone is surprised and the father asks, "Why was she hiding this beetle here?" Alberto replies, "I don't know." While he tries to close the box, his sister snatches the beetle and says, "The name of this beetle is very strange." Everyone starts playing with the beetle, but suddenly it lights up when Alberto holds it. Everyone is mesmerized by its beauty, and his mother feels joy and says, "It seems he likes you." Suddenly, the beetle enters Alberto's body, completely transforming his appearance, which astonishes everyone. Alberto is astonished and starts hearing a voice inside his head saying, "I am here to serve you." The voice tells him that they now possess superpowers, and Alberto begins to explore these abilities, but he finds it difficult to control his new body. And one time, he falls on a car, causing it to be destroyed. While trying to adapt, he discovers that he has wings he can use to fly. Events unfold, and each time Alberto tries to use his abilities, he finds it difficult to control them. Alberto heads to Jenny at the company and confronts the security who tries to catch him. He manages to escape with Jenny, but she tells him that the djinn is a deadly weapon that can destroy the world, and that scientists tried to activate it, but it chose Alberto alone. Jenny adds that the djinn is now linked to Alberto's body, and if it is removed, he will die. Alberto feels anger and disappointment, but he decides to use these abilities to protect his city and family. The challenges escalate when a wicked foe appears, trying to steal the reward, but Alberto, with the help of his new power and his family, manages to overcome him. Alberto eventually discovers that the power he gained is not just a curse, but an opportunity to be a hero who protects his city and loved ones. The plane was flying above them, and suddenly Jenny shouted, "This is a disaster! Victoria is coming to destroy your family!" At that moment, Victoria's men had begun to surround Alberto's house from all directions, and one of Alberto's friends appeared, saying, "It's my turn now, make way." He added confidently, "I will transform now. 1, 2, 3. But he didn't transform. So everyone started asking, "Why aren't you transforming?" He replied, "Wait, I'll transform now. Don't make me look foolish." Then he took off running, jumped high, and began to transform. Alberto headed towards the house while Victoria began the attack with her men, forcibly removing Alberto's family. The carpet inside the house caught fire, and her men asked, "Where is the djinn?" Alberto replied, "I won't tell you anything." They were about to kill him, but suddenly Alberto appeared, effortlessly lifting one of the men off the ground. Victoria was astonished and said, "This is impossible." Then she ordered her men, "Attack him." They tried to use weapons to stop him, but they had no effect at all. Kaji was standing next to him, saying, "Should we kill them or take them away?" He replied, "Kill them." Then he added, "No, actually, let's move them." And he started changing the weapon he had and using it against them skillfully. The battle continued while his family was fleeing. One of the girls from the family stumbled and fell to the ground. Her father rushed back to defend her, but he was struck and fell to the ground. Outside, Alberto was fighting bravely, but he heard Victoria scream, "Bring the disarmed weapon." It was a very powerful weapon. While they were bringing it, Alberto's father fell to the ground and his sister shouted his name, "Alberto, come!" He rushed towards her, but he was met with an intense attack from Victoria's men, who managed to injure him and bring him down to the ground. Kaji, who was standing next to him, said, "We're done, my friend." Victoria's men managed to take control of the situation and took Alberto hostage. The police arrived at the scene and extinguished the fire that was burning in the house, but Alberto's family was powerless to do anything to bring their son back. The next morning, their grandmother spoke to them, saying, "This is not the time to cry over your father. We must help Alberto first and then we can all cry together." While Mila sarcastically said, "This is what happens when you eat too much stuffed grape leaves," Jenny quickly replied, "Enough. I know where they took Alberto, and I have the weapons we will need to confront them." Jenny took everyone to her father's lab to get the necessary weapons. Then they all boarded a bee-like vehicle and set off towards the island where Victoria had transported Alberto. The island was called Bagu, and this was the site where Victoria intended to carry out her project that she had waited 51 years for. Meanwhile, Alberto was confined inside the laboratory. Victoria looked at him and said, "Finally, after all these years, I will be able to execute my project." The doctor who was working with her said, "But he might die." She replied indifferently, "I don't care, the project is more important." When the Alberto family members arrived on the island, they began to confront Victoria's men. Jenny had sneaked inside, and when she saw what Victoria had planned, she was shocked. There was a huge number of robots that Victoria was planning to use as an army to destroy the world. Jenny realized that Alberto's pure heart was the key to operating these robots, which heightened the danger of the situation. During his unconsciousness, Alberto saw his father in a dream. His father said to him, "Your pure heart is the reason you were chosen to protect people from evils like Victoria. Return to reality, fight, and use your power to achieve justice." Alberto suddenly woke up and began using his power against Victoria's soldiers, while Jenny and Mila were destroying the lab and blowing up the entire project. With the destruction of the facility, everyone tried to escape the island. In the end, the family managed to return to their destroyed home. Alberto was looking at them saying, "Don't worry, I'll fix everything." At that moment, Jenny appeared and said, "The company will cover the repair costs." Then she approached Alberto and hugged him, while everyone applauded them. Alberto and Jenny set off to start a new life, leaving the past behind them. If you liked the video, subscribe to the channel and activate the notification button to get more new videos. See ya!